As the sting of last season's fantasy football heartbreak still lingered for you, a bitter taste of what could have been, especially when a player you banked on, a superstar you drafted high, vanished into the abyss of injury reports? Can you truly shake off the skepticism when a player who once dominated, who once seemed invincible, suddenly becomes a question mark, a gamble? Because for countless fantasy managers and San Francisco 49ers faithful, the 2024 NFL season delivered a cruel dose of reality, particularly concerning two of their brightest stars. But now, a beacon of hope, a tantalizing whisper of redemption, has emerged from the hallowed halls of ESPN, suggesting that a monumental comeback is not just possible, but projected. We're diving deep into the latest projections from ESPN season fantasy football analyst Eric Karabell, who has just unveiled his highly anticipated list of top fantasy football comeback candidates for the upcoming 2025 season. And right there, shining brightly amidst the hopeful names, are two cornerstones of the San Francisco 49ers offense, quarterback Brock Purdy and running back Christian McCaffrey. This isn't just about statistics, it's about the emotional roller coaster of a fantasy season, the agony of defeat, and the exhilarating promise of a triumphant return. Let's start with the man under center, Brock Purdy. In 2024, Purdy's statistics were, by all accounts, respectable. He still commanded an NFL offense, still moved the ball, and still showed flashes of the brilliance that captivated the league. Yet, for anyone who witnessed his meteoric rise in 2023, his 2024 campaign felt different. It fell short of the breathtaking, record-setting pace he established in his breakout year. Remember 2023? Purdy wasn't just good. He was elite, setting a single-season franchise record with a staggering 4,280 passing yards and throwing for an incredible 31 touchdowns against just 11 interceptions. He was a fantasy revelation, a late-round steal who delivered QB1 numbers week after week, defying every expectation. Fast forward to last season, and the narrative shifted. The 49ers' offense, renowned for its intricate design and unparalleled talent, was plagued by injuries to several key players. The ripple effect was undeniable. Purdy's production, while still solid, took a noticeable dip. He finished with 3,864 passing yards, a commendable total, but his touchdown tally plummeted to 20, and his interceptions climbed to 12. That increase in turnovers, even by a small margin, can raise red flags for fantasy managers heading into a new season. According to ESPN, Purdy averaged 17.8 fantasy points per game in 2024, placing him 13th among NFL quarterbacks. That's a low-end QB1 or high-end QB2, but a significant step down from his 2023 heights. Karabell, with his characteristic insight, pinpoints the crucial factor. The QB number 6 of 2023 regressed a bit in 2024, certainly in part due to the health of other players around him. This isn't just an excuse, it's a critical piece of the puzzle. When your star tight end, your dynamic wide receivers, and your elite running back are in and out of the lineup, even the most talented quarterback will struggle to maintain peak efficiency. Yet, even amidst the adversity, Purdy still showcased high-level performance, finishing third in yards per attempt and more than doubling his rushing production, a sneaky source of fantasy points that often goes overlooked. The 49ers' quick decision to make a long-term investment in Purdy speaks volumes about their belief in his talent and his future, a belief that isn't solely based on his 2023 monster season, but on his underlying skills and resilience. Karabell concludes that Purdy has the skills to be a safe QB1 option, but certainly isn't being drafted that way. This presents a tantalizing opportunity for fantasy managers willing to bet on a healthy 49ers offense and a quarterback poised for resurgence. But if Purdy's 2024 was a regression, then Christian McCaffrey's season was nothing short of a nightmare. To call it disappointing would be a colossal understatement. It was a devastating blow to fantasy teams and undoubtedly to the 49ers' championship aspirations. McCaffrey, the reigning NFL Offensive Player of the Year, a man who had redefined the running back position with his unparalleled versatility and sheer dominance in 2022 and 2023, started the 2024 season on the injured reserve list with Achilles tendonitis. The hope was a quick return, a minor setback. Instead, it was the beginning of a cascade of misfortune. He ended the season back on injured reserve, this time with a far more severe ACL injury. In between those two stints, he appeared in a mere 4 games, a shadow of his former self, never truly showcasing the electrifying talent that had made him a consensus top 3 fantasy pick. Carabell, ever the pragmatist, acknowledges the brutal reality of McCaffrey's 2024 fantasy dominance as a non-QB in the 2022 and 2023 seasons hurt both the 49ers and fantasy investors last season as a preseason calf injury, and Achilles injury delayed his debut, not by just a few weeks, but until week 10 of November. Imagine the frustration, the dashed hopes, for those who drafted him early, only to watch him sidelined for the majority of the fantasy regular season. When he finally did return, it was a muted performance. McCaffrey wound up participating in just 4 games and at a mediocre level, failing to score any touchdowns. Carabell noted, "No touchdowns. For a player who is a touchdown machine, a consistent source of double-digit fantasy points, that statistic alone encapsulates the depth of his struggles." McCaffrey, once a perennial first-round lock in fantasy drafts, averaged a paltry 12 points per game in 2024, ranking him a shocking 27th among NFL running backs. This limited playtime, combined with his recent extensive injury history, has understandably left many fantasy managers wary, even outright fearful, of drafting him early in 2025. The memory of last season's disappointment is fresh, and the risk feels palpable. However, this very trepidation, this collective hesitation, is what could transform McCaffrey into one of the biggest steals of the upcoming fantasy season. McCaffrey won't be the first pick in 2025 drafts, Carabell asserts, but many will dismiss him in the early rounds due to the extreme risk of missed games. This is where the opportunity lies. If he slides past the first few rounds, if he becomes available later than his talent would dictate, he could be an absolute goldmine, assuming he can stay healthy in 2025. And that, my friends, is the million-dollar question, the ultimate gamble. Carabell's stark reminder of McCaffrey's injury history, playing in double-digit games in only 2 of the last 5 seasons, serves as a crucial caveat, a flashing red light, for those considering an early investment. It's a high-risk, high-reward proposition, a true test of a fantasy manager's nerve. The potential for these 2 49ers stars to rebound isn't just a fantasy football storyline, it has profound implications for the San Francisco 49ers as a legitimate Super Bowl contender. A healthy Brock Purdy, surrounded by a fully operational explosive offense, is a top-tier quarterback capable of leading deep playoff runs. A healthy Christian McCaffrey, the versatile game-breaking talent we've seen in his dominant seasons, transforms the 49ers offense from formidable to virtually unstoppable. Their health, or lack thereof, directly correlates with the team's ceiling. So, as we look ahead to the 2025 season, the narrative for the San Francisco 49ers and for fantasy managers everywhere is one of cautious optimism, tinged with the lessons learned from a challenging 2024. Can Brock Purdy reclaim his 2023 magic, proving that last season was merely a blip caused by circumstance, not a sign of fundamental regression? Can Christian McCaffrey defy his recent injury woes, reminding the world why he was once the undisputed king of fantasy football, a player whose absence left an unfillable void? The projections from ESPN's Eric Carabell offer a tantalizing glimpse into a world where these 2 stars not only return to form, but become cornerstone pieces for championship-winning fantasy teams. It's a story of redemption, of high stakes, and of the enduring allure of the comeback. What do you think, Fabiano? Are you buying into the bounce-back hype for Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey? Or does their 2024 season and McCaffrey's injury history make you too wary to invest early in your fantasy drafts? Share your bold predictions, your cautious takes, and your ultimate fantasy draft strategies in the comments below. And if this deep dive into the 49ers comeback candidates got your fantasy football brain buzzing, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more exclusive insights and analysis that will give you the edge in your league.